This is an All Ears English podcast, episode 587, How to Make Conversation with Your Airbnb Host. Welcome to the All Ears English podcast, downloaded more than 16 million times. We believe in connection, not perfection, with your American hosts, Lindsay McMahon, the English adventurer, and Michelle Kaplan, the New York radio girl, coming to you from Boston and New York City, USA. And to instantly download your transcript from today's episode, go to allearsenglish.com/transcripts. allearsenglish.com/transcripts.
Have you tried Airbnb yet? It's a great way to practice your English if you get a chatty host. Today, get phrases to use to talk with your host.
What's up, Michelle?
Not too much. How are you?
Well, I am good because I took a nice vacation this past weekend to Stowe, Vermont. And
oh, right. That's awesome.
I know. It was awesome. We stayed at an Airbnb in a little mountain town in Vermont. This place is heaven. Listen to this. If you like the mountains, you like the outdoorsy life, you can go mountain biking, you can go hiking, running, swimming. They also are well known for beer, for breweries, and also cheese. Ooh. So you can go to cheese tastings.
Oh.
They have chocolate tasting. And the best thing is that the Ben & Jerry's factory is up there. So, yes.
Oh, because I was when we were both in Vermont at the same time, remember?
I remember. Mm-hmm.
And so I went to there was a Ben & Jerry's there, but I didn't get to go to the factory. Is that nearby?
It's in Stowe, Vermont. So Burlington and Stowe are, I think, like an hour apart. They're both in northern Vermont. Yeah. So to me, this little mountain town called Stowe is like perfect. It's the perfect getaway. It has everything I love. But we stayed in an Airbnb. And I thought today what we could do is we could talk to our listeners about how to actually have a successful stay at an Airbnb because it requires more communication. And the communication is more important because you have a review. You'll be reviewed by them, right? So it's really crucial for our listeners who are coming to the US or all over the world using English at Airbnbs to actually do it well and use the right phrases.
Yeah, that's good. It's really important. And Airbnb is so popular now.
It's getting so popular. I've used it. I used it a few times on my trip across the US this summer. And then I use it a lot on the weekends when I go away. And so, it's really interesting, right, Michelle? We're in a new place now with the economy, this new peer-to-peer economy that's happening where anyone who has an extra room can become kind of a hotel owner type thing, right? They can rent out their room. I mean, it's interesting. Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on this whole idea of this new economy, this peer-to-peer economy when it comes to where to stay?
I think it's a good thing. I don't know. I mean, would you put your place on Airbnb?
Well, not currently. No one would want to stay here. I don't think it's not really. We have permanent roommates here. But if I, for example, down at my parents' beach house, I would like to put that on Airbnb, but they don't want to. So I think it's a great idea, a great way to make extra cash if you have a spare room.
To me, it would be nice. Like if I went away on the weekend or something to, try and see if I could do it. But then I feel like I would have to really, really make my apartment like a little hotel. Do you think that's true? Well,
people try to put like little personal touches. They put out like hotel soap sometimes, towels.
Yeah.
They do the little
That's
extra.
kind of fun.
It's kind of fun, actually. I mean, the place we were at this past weekend was just beautiful. It was an old farmhouse.
Really?
It's all like wood interior, wood floors, beautiful beds, a beautiful tub. She had free snacks, free coffee, free muffins that her mother, like her elderly mom, had made muffins for us because it was her first time hosting.
So cute.
This is the kind of thing you just don't get in a hotel, right?
That's true. No, I think it's definitely a cool thing. And I did stay at an Airbnb once, but it was actually, we booked through Airbnb, but it turned out to be like really an inn that was advertising on Airbnb. So it didn't feel quite, it felt a little bit more, I mean, it was still like, it was like a bed and breakfast. So, which is Airbnb. But it was like an official one. It wasn't like someone's like extra room. It was a guy who lives in the house, but he had many different rooms. And I think they were just advertising on Airbnb.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. They'll advertise through their own website, through Expedia, and through Airbnb. So that's fine. But then sometimes you really do end up in a place where it is the person's spare room. And the difference between Airbnb and a hotel is that you get reviewed. So every time you complete your stay, you review the guest, of course, but then the guest also reviews you, right? And that's why we're doing this episode today for our listeners, because you need a good profile so that other future hosts will actually accept your application to stay with them, right? Hotels don't do that. So this is a new economy. And, we were talking about this weekend with a friend of mine. We were saying, what would happen if people got reviewed for everything, right? You go to a store or buy a coffee and the people who sell you the coffee review you as a customer, I mean, we'd be many people would be more polite. It would be a different world.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
It would. I mean, it makes me think about Uber a little bit.
Same thing, right? This is the peer-to-peer economy. It's the same type of economy, the same type of transaction. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I think, God, I think it's really just changing so much. And I'm very interested to see if it kind of continues on this path and people do more and more of these things, or if at some point it slows down. I don't know.
Well, I know that Airbnb has been kind of plagued by, local law. I think hotels are kind of protesting, obviously saying that Airbnbs need to pay a certain tax, like a hotel tax, and that's still in the works. But I think it's inevitable. My guess is that it will definitely continue. There'll be offshoots or competitors of Airbnb that will spring up. I mean, the thing is, it's just cheaper than a hotel, first of all. When it comes down to it, most people, it's about money, right? And it is cheaper. Like when I was staying in, Oregon. I was staying in Bend, Oregon, and I was looking for a hotel. I couldn't find anything cheaper than $100, but I was able to stay in someone's room for $42, right? You're never going to find a hotel for $42. If you paid $42 for a hotel, you'd be staying in a really, really bad place, right?
Right. And I'm thinking about their commercial, the Airbnb commercial.
No, I've never seen the commercial before.
Oh, it's cute. It's like, don't just go to Paris, live there. Don't just go to Tokyo, live there. Because, they're trying to say, when you go to a hotel, maybe it's not as personal a feeling. If you go to somebody's apartment, and you stay there, you kind of get more of a feeling of what it would be like to live there. I don't know. And I think that that's cool. I actually like that commercial. It's a unique way of thinking about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't really think about it that way when I stay there. But I mean, one thing that I like about it, it's kind of along those lines, is that it's just more personal than a hotel. Like often you end up, in my experiences, which I've only done it about 5 or 6 times so far, but I've always talked a little bit to the guest. It's not like you're going to sit down and have dinner with the host, but you talk to the host, you get recommendations on where to go in the town. You are staying in a home, so it feels less sterile than a hotel. That's for sure. It feels friendlier, just feels like not an empty feeling of a hotel, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And sometimes, you get free snacks. They have a guest book. Sometimes fun little things. So we want our listeners, basically we're saying, guys, use Airbnb, at least if you're traveling in the US and around the world, because you'll be able to practice your English more than you would in a hotel. And it's more fun. I don't know. It's more comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I love a good hotel. Don't get me wrong. I can't lie. I do love the feeling, like the special feeling of staying in a hotel. But I also, number one, I appreciate the price, and I do think it is kind of cozy, and I mean, the reason that I like that commercial is because I do sometimes when I'm traveling, I don't like feeling like a tourist all the time. And I think that the way they lay it out, like, more of what it's like to actually live somewhere. So I always wonder about it. And so sometimes the best thing to do is to, actually see where people are living and what their apartments are like. So I think that part about it is unique. So I like both.
Yeah, I love that. I think, for me, when you're traveling like long term, right? Like, for example, for my trip this summer, I did mostly camping and couch surfing, which is another thing. We'll talk about that another day. A whole nother bag of tricks there.
I did camp once. Yeah.
Okay.
I never couch surf.
different bag of tricks there. But, yeah, but hotels get old fast, right? You're moving from one hotel to the next. It just feels good to stay in someone's home. But for today, Michelle, we're going to help our listeners with 4 language kind of functions or goals that they would have to communicate with the host, right? So they are to let the host know when you'll be arriving. And what's the second one, Michelle?
Make a nice comment about the room when you arrive.
Yeah. And to ask about the house rules is number 3. And what's the 4th?
The 4th one is to ask for a recommendation. That's a good one.
Okay. So when I was writing this episode today, guys, I went back and I thought about my weekend in Stowe and I thought about the interactions that we had with the host. And these were the main things that we did with her, right? It was limited chatting, but there was a bit of chatting. She was friendly, and that's the point. Like, they want to be friendly with you. So it's a golden opportunity for you guys to practice your English. So let's go through the first one, Michelle. What are some phrases our listeners could use to let the host know when they'll be arriving? This will probably be by phone or by text message, really.
Okay, so you could say, we should be there around 8 p.m.
Yeah, this is important because they want to know when they need to be home or how to, whether or not they should leave the door unlocked for you. Sometimes that happens, right? In real rural places like New Hampshire. I mean, the place we stayed in Stowe, they didn't even lock their door at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so different than,
I know, very different. Oh, very different. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first phrase. Or we could say we'll be getting in sometime between 7 and 9. Right?
Right. That's good. Yeah. Give them a window.
Yeah. Hey guys, the best way to make sure that you take today's episode and make it a real English lesson that you can improve from is to get the transcripts. The prices on the transcripts may be going up very soon, so go and grab your transcripts today, guys. Go to allearsenglish.com/transcripts. See you there. And the last phrase is?
The last one is we plan to arrive around 8 p.m.
Okay, perfect. So we probably gave you guys more than you need in terms of phrases, but we're giving you 3 options. We always want,
right.
I know for our listeners at their level to be able to connect, they want variety, right? We want new phrases, different ways to say things so we don't feel like a robot. So that's what we're giving you guys today. Okay. All right.
Exactly. Okay.
Go ahead, Michelle.
So the next one is we have phrases for how to make a nice comment about the room when you arrive. I think this is important. People are, if they're there, they want to hear something. I don't know. Are the people usually ever there when you get there?
Yeah, I think, they are. Usually what happens, well, not always. Sometimes they give you the code to unlock the door, you show yourself in. But recently, the most recent examples, generally the person's been there waiting to greet us. And then they take us to the room and they say, okay, here it is. Here's the bathroom. Here's what you need. And at that moment, it's a really, if you do believe it's beautiful and it is their house, don't forget, right? This is someone's home and you want to start things off on the right foot. So you do have a good review. It's a nice thing to say something like, for example, you could say, oh, it's perfect, right?
Yeah. Or you could say your home is beautiful.
Yeah. Or you could say, oh, this looks amazing. And that is how I felt this past weekend. The place I stayed in Stowe was just beautiful. It was just typical Vermont, right? A farmhouse type thing. Just gorgeous.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah. So the person has taken pride, right? They've cleaned up the room and they've gotten it ready for you. So say something nice to them if it is nice. Okay.
Yeah. That'll make them feel good for sure.
Yeah. Start a good rapport. And then we want to ask about the house rules. Now with Airbnb, they actually ask you to agree. They require you to agree to the house rules, when you do rent the home online. But you could ask again, or just if you forgot what you agreed to or something like that, you could ask, right? You could say, oh, should we take our shoes off? Right?
Right. That's a good one. Sometimes people don't care about that, but sometimes they do. Or you could say, do you want us to lock the door behind us?
Yep. And another
behind
thing
us, that means when we're not there, behind us.
Yeah, when we come in or when we go out. And to go back to the shoes thing, I know in Japan, like you always take off your shoes. And sometimes you wear special shoes in the house. But in the US, not every home is like that. Like in the US, some homes you have to take off your shoes and some you don't care. They don't care. So it really depends on the home. It's different everywhere. Yeah.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Or you could say, if you have a question about parking, you could say, would it be easiest if I parked in the driveway or on the street? That's a good question.
Maybe easier would be better.
Maybe easier. Yeah, that's why I was tripping up on it. Yeah. Would it be easier if I parked in the driveway or on the street?
Yeah. So you want to ask about where to park, right? Because you've driven in and your car might be causing a problem that you're not aware of, and you do need to communicate and ask where to park. Okay. These are all parts of getting a good review and building a good rapport, having a good experience. Okay.
Sure.
And the last one is how to ask for a recommendation. This is the coolest thing about Airbnb, right? So they know the town, they're locals, they know where to go. They're not going to steer you to a touristy spot. That's another benefit of Airbnb over a hotel. I feel like in hotels, often, unless you ask for a local spot, they'll send you to a touristy place, right? Because they assume you want to have the touristy stuff. And maybe you don't want that, right? So
yeah, true.
I don't like that. I want to go where the locals go when I travel,
Yeah, me too. Actually, when we stayed at the Airbnb, I told you it was an inn, and so they had some breakfast out, and we met another couple there, and one of the guy in the couple, he said that he had lived there for some time actually, and so they were just back to visit. So he recommended a really cool restaurant that we would have never gone to.
Oh yeah.
We wouldn't have known about, and it was for the last night, and it was just this really, really good place that was kind of off the main strip. And so we really like that. So it's true. These things, maybe it's not, if you're staying in an inn or something like that, you can also meet people who can give you good recommendations potentially.
Yeah, sure. Inns, or just the smaller the place, the more likely it is that you're going to get a more personalized local recommendation, not what a concierge would tell you to do.
Right.
So Yeah. Okay. So then the last one is asking for a recommendation, right? So here's one. Can you suggest or recommend a good restaurant around here? Okay. That's the first thing we could say.
Mm-hmm. Or you could say, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. You could say, where would you say is the best place to grab a drink in town?
Yeah. And if you're looking to get outside, do you know any good hikes in the area or good walks in the area, right? These are basic questions, but this is going to steer you in the right direction so you can enjoy your time in that town. Okay?
Right. Exactly.
Good. I love it. So Michelle, let's do a little role play. Let's see. So I'm going to be the host and you're going to be the guest. Okay? So here we go. Ready?
It's like in our episode about hotels, but it's different.
Oh my God, you're right.
We just did a role play. Yeah, we just did one about hotels, so now we're changing to Airbnb, and
we're doing again. Airbnb. Okay, much cooler. Okay, all right. So hi, you made it. Welcome to my place.
Oh, thanks. We're happy to be here. It's been a long drive.
Well, now you can relax. Come on in. Your room is ready.
Should we take our shoes off?
Yes, please. You can leave them right here in the cubbies. Let me show you your room. Well, here it is.
Oh, it's perfect. Your home is beautiful, by the way.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just want to ask, would it be easier if I parked in the driveway or on the street?
Oh, you're fine where you are.
Great. Well, we're going to head out for some dinner. Can you recommend a good restaurant around here?
Oh, sure. If you're looking for steak and burgers, there's Sam's right down the street.
Cool. That sounds perfect right now. And where would you say is the best place to grab a drink in town?
Oh, I love the Stage. They have live music 5 nights a week. They should have a band there tonight.
Awesome. Thanks. We'll be back later. Do you want us to lock the door behind us?
Yeah, that would be great. I'll see you guys in the morning. Have fun.
Okay. Awesome.
So in my mind, that's a pretty typical Airbnb interaction. Usually that's like as far as you're going to go in terms of conversation, but it depends. I've only done it 5 or 6 times. So every host is different. But it is a little bit of a chance to chat and work on your English, guys. So I think it's really cool. I mean, so the takeaways, let's go back, Michelle. Let's just, see what we said in this role play before we do the takeaways for today.
Okay. So let's see. So the first thing was you welcomed me. And then I said, should we take our shoes off? Asking about the house rules. About the house rules. Exactly. And then later you said, I just want to ask, would it be easier if I parked in the driveway or on the street? Okay. Perfect. Oh, and before that, when you showed me the room, I said, oh, it's perfect. Your home is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, that's that really important comment that you're going to make. You don't have to lie. If you don't think it's very nice, then you have another problem. We can talk about that in a different episode. But, if you do think it's nice, then that's going to get you started off on the right foot with this host, okay? So we want to be able to say something nice. Yeah. And then you ask for a recommendation, right? Can you recommend a good restaurant around here? Okay.
Right. Exactly. That was good. And then you gave me some recommendation for food. And then I said, and where would you say is the best place to grab a drink in town?
Good. So again, also asking for a recommendation, but just phrasing it differently. You can't say the same thing every time, guys, right? Okay. Good. And then you said, do you want us to lock the door behind us? Again, kind of house rules, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this sounds like a pretty good Airbnb interaction, Lindsay.
I like it. Sounds very good. I think on both sides we'll be getting good reviews, so that's important so we can keep using Airbnb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the takeaway here, guys, for today in my mind is don't be afraid to use Airbnb. It's a good way to practice your English. And what else, Michelle? Any other tips, takeaways for our listeners today?
Definitely try and have some basic conversations with the host, right? So, and notice their body language, right? Because some of them may want to chat with you and some of them, it's not really the obligation, right? They don't have to, maybe they don't have time or maybe they really aren't the type of person to socialize like that. So, try and read them and see what you think.
Yeah. Airbnb is not, like Couchsurfing is a different website, a different social network where you actually stay for free, which I did in a lot of places around the US this summer. And that's a completely different setup and set of expectations. That is much more interaction based. There's a lot more chatting, cultural exchange. You have dinner with the person many times. Sometimes they even take you around their town. So there's a real expectation that the two of you will chat quite a bit. But with Airbnb, it's more of a transaction. So the person's not expected to talk with you, but if they want to, if they're open to it, then take advantage a little bit, right? Just do it to practice your English. Okay.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Well, good luck, guys.
Yeah, this has been a long episode, but I think a useful one. So guys, I want you to come back to our website, type in the search bar 587 and tell us about your Airbnb experience. Like what happened? How did it go? Which of these phrases did you use? Okay. And also don't forget to go and grab the transcripts for today. It's allearsenglish.com/transcripts.
Okay. Awesome. Well, have a good day, everyone. Bye, Lindsay.
Take care, Michelle. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to All Ears English. And if you need a 7 or higher on your IELTS exam to achieve your life vision, then our Insider Method can get you there. Start with our free video series masterclass. Get video 1 now at allearsenglish.com/INSIDER. And if you believe in connection, not perfection, then subscribe to our show on your phone or on your computer. See you next time.